Okay, well, it's now time to switch focus a little bit, and we're going to get to the end game here, which is moving towards the conferral of the $10,000 fourth Newman Prize for Chinese Literature to Chu T'ien-Wen. And we are very fortunate to have with us today Professor Wang or Ban Wang, if you do it in the English way. I did my PhD at Berkeley, but I don't hold anything against Stanford. In fact, I published my last book with Stanford University Press, so we'll welcome him to the podium. He is going to give a brief tribute to Chu T'ien-Wen. Please join me in welcoming Professor Wang.
Thank you. When the news came last September that Chu T'ien-Wen has just won the fourth Newman Prize for literature, Chinese literature, I've just arrived in Taiwan. I was so thrilled that I told everybody I met. During those frustrating days, a month regarding the fake cooking oil, the scandal of the cooking oil in Taiwan, Chu's award brought sunshine and smile to everybody, to my friends and colleagues. It was really a pleasure and honor for me tonight to step in for Margaret Hildebrand of Oxford, who nominated Chu T'ien-Wen for the prize, and to pay tribute to the laureate. For 3 decades, Chu T'ien-Wen has given us masterpieces about Taiwan on the cusp of transition. When I see riders of scooters roaring through streets, or guests sipping tea in Starbucks, when I wander around Taipei's well-known Huashan Wenchuang Yuan, that's the Garden of Humanities and Art, with its world cinemas around the clock, cool performances, and boutiques with handcrafted artworks, I feel I'm rereading Chu T'ien-Wen. When I see youngsters hang out in the Mitsukushi department, it's the famous Xinguang Sanyue stores, and line up in theaters to watch Hollywood blockbuster Hunger Games, I appreciate much better Chu T'ien-Wen's achievement. With keen observation, Chu's work captures the spirit, the smells, the colors, texture, and above all, the genie of Taiwan urban life. With a magic touch of impressionistic painter, Chu T'ien-Wen weaves myriad images, lights, and shadows into compelling scenes, expressing the fanciful and real on the same breath. Chu's works crystallizes the everyday into literary landmarks. Chu T'ien-Wen also gives us sobering diagnosis of hearts and minds of modern men and women. Her characters roam the streets like lost souls and wander in wilderness like ghosts. Chu is most penetrating in detailing the existential crisis and poignant moral decay in confusing changes. All that is solid melts into air, she says. And where are the old flowers gone, she asks. Insatiable desires for ever renewable commodities, distractions from daily updates, the pursuit of brand name fashions, indulgence in roller coaster rides from one thrill to another. All these make up the barren landscape without future. Chu has given us compelling testimonies of cityscapes undergoing creative destruction at the hand of power elites in secret league with multinational corporations. Her characters float and migrate from person to person, from place to place, from mirage to mirage, chasing the wing of fulfillment and happiness. But all is not lost What makes Chu's character most interesting and compelling is their redemption, their initiation, their yearning for higher realm of spirituality. Take Mia, a female character in her story Fin de siècle, Splendor. Having experimented a range of lifestyles, having attended to man's discourse, and played shape-shifting models, Mia returns home to cultivate her own garden. She builds her own shrine, lives very simply, and makes her own paper on which to write her own work. Indeed, she has to create the world anew from scratch. I would like to quote what I believe to be the most beautiful passage from this story. I quote, "The castle of clouds being blown apart, revealing a lake of Egyptian blue, rosemary. When she's old and her beauty has faded, Mia will be able to support herself with her handicrafts. The abyssal blue of the lake tells her that the world men have built with theories and systems will collapse. And she, with her memory of smells and colors, will rebuild the world from here." End of quote. The memory of color and smell stems also from the treasure that Chu has inherited from the Chinese classics. Early in her education, Chu T'ien-Wen has learned much from literary canons and absorbed the refined sense and sensibility. Chu's intimate links to the traditional culture and her invocation of ancient knowledge and motifs has earned her a place in literary history way beyond a Taiwan writer. Her elegant style and sensibility puts her in touch with the living stream of Chinese literati tradition. She not only immerses herself in the postmodern scene, but also stands on the shoulders of the past masters and linked to the centuries of accumulated knowledge and wisdom. With the eyes of film director, Chu has crafted the words into stunning film scripts. In her cooperation with Hou Xiaoxian, the filmmaker, she has created the verbal and visual aesthetics that constitute the monument of the new Taiwan cinema. Hou Xiaoxian's films rest on the long take, the long shot, the stationary camera, and the immersive fascination with exquisite and unadorned minutiae of everyday life. The film has enshrined the behaviors and decors past and present into a venerable canon. In Chu's insightful comments, the long take respects the objective integrity of time and space without subjective intrusion and narration. The unhurried mise-en-scène delivers open-ended and complex messages to the viewer. Chu T'ien-Wen compares Hou's films with Eileen Zhang's philosophy of writing. Eileen Zhang is a Shanghai writer, was very productive in the 40s. I see Eileen Zhang's philosophy as Chu's self-statement. Although Eileen Zhang's writing also gives the impression of fin de siècle splendor, the Shanghai writer loved simplicity and had a philosophy of back to the basics. Eileen Zhang, in Chu's self-confessional words, describes the flying colors of life against a vernacular background and away from the epic structures of history. Chu T'ien-Wen's depiction of contemporary scene is grounded in the deep philosophical understanding of the human condition. The individual's life cycle is embedded in a long stream of cultural memory and human destiny. Her work will endure and will be read by generations after generation. Let's give a round of applause to Chu T'ien-Wen. Thank you.